Welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs YouTube channel. My name is Greg Sykes, along with Brandon Scott. And if you're new here, thank you for joining us. This channel is dedicated to the Washington Commanders, one of the best franchises in the NFL. And so if you found us, please be sure you subscribe to this channel. And when you do, make sure you hit that notification bell so you will never miss another video release. So coming up in this video, we're going to be previewing the upcoming game against the New York Giants. Now, the New York Giants have kind of had our number for the past several games. I don't know what it's been, but Ron Rivera somehow could not beat those New York Giants to save our life. And everybody is looking at this game going, this should be a breeze. The Giants, they are down to their third string quarterback. We got Mr. Mama's Boy playing for the Giants. The Giants have a plethora of injuries. They're what, 2-8, I think, 2-7, 2-8 right now. 2-8. And they are ripe for the picking, which, you know what, scares me to death, because the Commanders have played the role of, we are going to allow you to get right against us. And every single team who have struggled with one thing or the other have somehow figured it out against us. And this, quite frankly, folks, Brandon, this game scares the bejesus out of me. Because no matter what, we always seem to play down to teams that we should beat by double digits. And I think we're favored to win this game by 10 points, the last I heard. And, honestly, it scares me to death. And, of course, another superstition, we're wearing the black uniforms. We never have any good luck wearing the black uniforms. I don't know why we continue to wear those alternate uniforms. I mean, come on, can't we wear the Redskins uniforms as a throwback or something? I mean,
Hey,
come on.
I know.
Anyway, so we got to talk about keys to victory. So Brandon, keys to victory for this game. What do you think Washington's going to need to do? And we're probably going to sound a little repetitive. But, until the coaching staff actually starts watching this channel and listens to us, I mean, we're going to keep repeating ourselves. So, Brandon, keys to the game, you go.
Absolutely. Number one, on repeat, run the ball. We ran the ball
Yes.
8 times last game, man. I know that I'm to the point where I think that he's modeling a lot to Kansas City. Because if you look at Kansas City, they haven't had a 1,000-yard back till probably Larry Johnson. I mean, it's been a while with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Time.
Long time, man. So, but I think that you got to kind of look at the personnel and shape your coaching around the personnel. We need to run the ball a lot more. So I'm looking for at least 15 touches for Ryan Robinson, man. Maybe mix in a little bit of Chris Rodriguez and get creative with Antonio Gibson. Talk about the run. Let's flip on the other side. Stopping the run. Tommy DeVito, a.k.a. Danny DeVito's kid, man. I mean, I don't see him really. I mean, I've never heard of him. I don't expect him to go back 50 times. I think they're going to rely heavily on Saquon Barkley. So definitely curtail Saquon Barkley. Definitely keep him from making those plays, because, yes, he's injured all the daggone time. But when he plays hard, and he can definitely be a home run threat as far as running the ball. So, again, by stopping Saquon Barkley, it leads into the third one. Put pressure on DeVito. Force him to make mistakes. Really force him to get the ball quick. Make him go through his progressions quicker. Confuse him. Really, really get to him. Because I think that, yes, this is a scary game, Greg, but I think it's a winnable game. I think it's a game that this win could prove that maybe it's a little too early to say. I mean, I agree with you. The season might be over, but we want to see them have some fight towards the end. I think that's what I'm kind of saying. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with you, Greg. I think the season's pretty much called for, but you want to go out. I mean, momentum can go beyond, right? You can push momentum going out and into the next year. And I think that they definitely need to play hard towards the end, really play spoiler. And again, bro, I mean, look at the record, man. We're a couple games under 500. I don't want to start talking about playoffs and nothing, but I definitely think this is a winnable game and a must-win game, because New York always has our number. So yeah, those are the 3 keys of victory. To kind of reiterate: running the ball more than 8 times, stopping Saquon Barkley, and definitely force DeVito to throw the ball and definitely capitalize on mistakes. I'm looking at Emmanuel Forbes getting a pick in this game. I'm going to go ahead and predict that.
Yeah, yeah. As long as that they don't decide to eject him for no reason whatsoever.
Oh,
Yeah, I had to add that in there. um, yeah, you know what? Load 8 guys in the box there. Sell out to the run. If the Giants are going to beat us, then force DeVito to beat us.
yeah,
Put all the pressure on him. Make him beat us. And you know what? If he can beat us, then the Giants deserve this game. That's the way I see it. And honestly, I think that Jack Del Rio needs to approach his game plan just like that. Show no respect. I know this is going to sound bad, but show no respect to DeVito. Say, you know what? You're a third string guy. No one's ever heard of you. You are going to have to beat us. And if he can do it, then great, But we're going to take Saquon Barkley out of the picture. We are going to make sure that he does not beat us, which means that the linebackers are going to have to do their jobs. We see the linebackers very streaky, like every now and then they'll step up and make a play here and there, but it is just so inconsistent. And at other times they're out of position. They don't make the tackles. And Deron Payne and John Allen, they have been missing in action the last couple of weeks or so. I mean, they've just disappeared. So we have really got to sell out on the run. Do some run blitzes if you have to, but force them into having to pass the ball if they're going to beat us. And then, like you said, I think that our secondary can come away with some turnovers. If the secondary can get some turnovers, have a short field for our offense. Sam Howell, he has played great. He's played very good. He is definitely our QB1 going into 2024. There's no question about it. Allow him short fields to be able to get the ball to his playmakers. We need to get Terry McLaurin more involved.
yeah.
Be a little bit more consistent. I know that Sam Howell has so many weapons. Sometimes it's like, how can you distribute the ball evenly to everybody? It almost seems like all right, this week it's going to be Terry McLaurin, next week it's going to be Jahan Dotson, and so forth. But you can't go away from Terry McLaurin because he's your playmaker. You can't go away from Jahan Dotson because he'll also make some plays. So, allow him to get the ball out of his hands. Don't creep back to that long 7-step drop back, because that's when I notice we start to get a little bit more pressure back on Sam Howell and he starts to get sacked, especially if we're going to continue to have like a 60-40, or honestly more of an 80-20 split when it comes to pass versus run. So if you're going to do that, then you at least make some of those passes more of an extension of the run game and allow Sam Howell to get the ball out of his hands a lot faster. When he was doing that against the Eagles, he was not getting sacked. So let's continue to allow Sam to do that. He'll be just fine. But like you said, Brandon, get B-Rob more involved. He needs more touches than 8 times. That's ridiculous. Now, I did have a comment on one of my videos where they were like, we're not running the football because we can't. And I'm like, what? And, this person says we can't run the football. Have you seen our backs? They're terrible. They run into the back of our blockers. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Have you not watched football? We have very talented running backs. These guys run the football well. They are just not getting the touches.
Yeah.
When Brian Robinson is getting the football more than 10 to 15 times a ball game. He gets better as the game progresses, especially in that second half. He starts breaking longer runs. The thing is that Eric Bieniemy has to keep with that, and he likes to go away from that. And so it's interesting how that there are fans out there who fight me on that. They're like, "Why do we need a balanced offense?" And I'm like, am I living on Mars? I mean,
Right.
you always need a balanced
Yeah.
offense. You do. I mean, I would debate anybody on that.
Yeah.
So, yes, you need Brian Robson involved. You need Chris Rodriguez more involved.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why Chris Rodriguez is not getting more involved, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I know this is not necessarily under the scope of this video, but I'm not sure why Cole Turner has been a healthy scratch either. He has played really well when he has been in there. And I know that Logan Thomas has had a pretty solid year. And John Bates has not played badly. He's
Nah.
actually done pretty well in the passing game. So I really don't know why Cole Turner has been a healthy scratch. It's just, it blows my mind. I don't know. Yeah, I start to question the I guess just the talent evaluation of this coaching staff. When
Yeah.
we start
Yeah.
to look at some of these guys that, the times that they have been given in the games they have produced, and then for one reason or the other, the coaching staff just goes away from them. The offensive line was terrible up to the point to where we made changes finally
Yeah.
toward the middle of the season, and then suddenly Sam Howell is not getting sacked as much. So just I kind of questioned some of that. So anyway, I'm not trying to get on that tangent. I'm just just makes me wonder on this. I want to see more touches from Chris Rodriguez. I want to see more touches for the running backs in general. I think if we have more well-balanced offense, we control time of possession, we keep the other offense off the field, we wear down their defense, which has been injured and banged up as well, and we should control this game from start to finish. So, I mean, honestly, it should be an easy victory, but Brandon, I'm still scared because
Yeah.
you know. But regardless, let's do some predictions here. So I'm scared, but I'm also going to be a little bit optimistic. I'm going to say Washington, despite the fact they're wearing those black uniforms, they will win this game. But I think it's going to be a sloppy game. It shouldn't be. It should be a great game by them. But it's going to be a sloppy game because they play down to teams that they should
Yeah.
beat handily. I will say that the game will probably be 24-21. They'll probably win it in the fourth quarter. They'll, for some reason or the other, they're going to keep it close. Heck, the Giants they'll probably even lead at some point in the ball game. It seems like every single ball game, that's what we see. So, I think it's going to be a close game. And would I be surprised if the Giants beat Washington? I would not be surprised. Don't call me a hater, folks.
Oh.
I'm not a hater. I'm just, I've seen too much. And I just want to prepare myself for the worst, but hope for the best. But that's what I'm saying. I think the Commanders will win, but I don't think it's going to be a, knockout blow by any chance. So, Brandon, what do you think?
I actually think the opposite, man. I think it's going to be a knockout. I
hope so.
I think that Sam Howell, man, we have finally found our franchise quarterback.
I do agree with that.
I mean,
Yes.
he's a baller, man. I mean, he could sling that ball. I mean, he can throw the deep ball. He can throw the deep ball with accuracy. I mean, he throws it hard. He can run. He runs with instincts. runs with vision as a runner. You see leadership, you see moxie. I mean, everything you want in the quarterback, man. And it's just like we were talking about before the show, man. This is the first time in a while that we have a better quarterback situation than the Giants. So, I
Yes.
mean, so congratulations on signing Daniel Jones to that extension. I'm just saying. But, yep, there you go.
Thank you, New York.
You got him, man. But, I mean, look at it. I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a 28-13. And the reason I
Okay.
say that, they're going to put 28 on them. And I think because I think they're going to get a touchdown on this, but it's going to be a Saquon Barkley run. I think they're going to get up with field goals. But, no, I think you're going to see some energy because I don't see DeVito doing much, man. Now, he might surprise me. I'd be very surprised if he surprises me, but Giants they're done, man. I think they're really. You don't really see the term tanking in the NFL. It's more of like an NBA term, tanking, losing on purpose, but they're not very good. I mean, it's just, and obviously looking at fans is at FedEx, so you're going to see probably half and half Giants fans and Skins/Commanders fans, but I think it's a win, man. I mean, Sam Howell's is too talented. He's really got a chip on his shoulder. He's trying to really show the league what he can do because people forget he is top 10, if not top 5 in passing yards, man. I mean, he's a guy who's up there with some reputable names as far as passing the ball. So, and you mentioned the O-line. When they made that change, you saw a big difference with the O-line. Now you see some decent protection out of them. The offense is not really my concern other than running the ball. Please give the ball to B-Rob more than 8 times, please. But, you got too many weapons on the offensive side. And now that you figured out a little bit of quirks, I still think we need to work on the O-line in the offseason. But for right now, I think they are a cohesive unit enough to where we can get through to the end of the year. But the defense is what really needs to step up for us, man, because we're giving up a lot of points every game. I mean,
Too much.
And this kind of leads into a question I want to ask you before we roll, man. Okay, we lose to the Giants. Do we finally see a coaching change? Especially if we give up 20 plus. Is this finally it for Del Rio? What do you think?
I mean, there have been plenty in my mind. I think that there was enough evidence and enough reason to let Del Rio go games ago, and it didn't happen. So I think at this point, I don't know. I would probably say no. I would say that Harris has shown enough restraint that he's like, you know what? I already know I'm making changes. And that might be the reason why that, by him not firing any of the coaches, mid-season, that puts Ron Rivera on alarm. Why do I say that? Well, the simple fact that if Harris is firing, coordinators and position coaches or whatnot midway, then he's sending a message to Ron Rivera that I'm doing what I'm trying to do to help you out. These guys are pulling you down. You need to make changes because I want to improve this team. I want to feel like that there's still a chance for this team to be successful this season, and I want you to be successful this season. I mean, I'm not saying that he doesn't want Ron to be successful, but I think my point is that by Harris being so patient that he's willing to let it ride out no matter what, he has already made that decision that he's going to be making some wholesale, changes at the end of the season. Front office, coaching, and all of that. So it doesn't really matter. They're going to be gone regardless, including Ron Rivera. I would be shocked, honestly, if Ron Rivera stayed, but it wouldn't be completely out of the question. But I think it'd be the caveat with that. I think Ron Rivera would stay, but there would have to be a lot of changes. On the defensive side of coaching. Jack Del Rio is gone. A new defensive coordinator, of course. Let's keep Eric Bieniemy around because that seems to be working for Sam Howell. but let's give Eric Bieniemy a little bit more of a voice. Let's do maybe even a transition, of head coaching possibly. But by, I know this is a long-winded answer, but by Harris and company not really having an itchy trigger finger at this point, that just tells me that they're willing to let it ride out, that they have already decided they're going to make changes at the end of the season regardless. So, I mean, honestly, if it was me, I would be like,
Yeah, right.
he's gone, because, uh, you know, 4 years, 4 years, and the defense. Now the defense was in the top 10 last year, maybe even the top five in some areas last year. So what changed? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
some guys beef on like Cole Holcomb and some of those guys that we lost. And it's funny, and I'm not saying that the defense went downhill because of those guys leaving, but I'm just saying that what changed other than some of those guys who left? Everything should have stayed the same. The same system. You had the same defensive line up
yep,
until a couple of weeks ago. What changed?
yeah,
Because you go from being top 10 in a lot of areas to now you're 31 in the league in points allowed. 31. That is irresponsible. Um, and you're just as bad in other areas as well. You're at least in the bottom of a lot of other categories for the defense. And it's your fourth year as a coordinator. There should be improvement and not the other way around. And so, honestly, if I'm Ron Rivera, I would have fired you. And
yeah, yeah,
so Ron Rivera looks like he's checked out. To be honest with you,
yeah.
he really
He's
has.
he's in a whole other planet, man. I mean, I just, yeah, I think he knows what the prognosis is for next year, man. That no, he could win the rest of these games, and probably he's because I mean, and I think this is a good. This is definitely something we're going to talk about this week coming up, man. And Harbaugh's a name being out there, Belichick's a name out there. So we're definitely going to talk about that this
Yeah.
week, man, because I think that's definitely a hot topic. But I think that this front office and this ownership group has already had it in their mind they're going to move on to another coach.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, because there's a reason why the Commanders are being linked to these coaches, whether it's Belichick, Harbaugh, or whoever. But whether they make a move in season, I think we're too far into the season for them to do that. I think they're
Yeah.
going to ride it out. Because a part of me thought that maybe they'd replace Ron Rivera just to see if Eric Bieniemy can be a head coach, and if he can't, then maybe slide him back to coordinator and go get a coach. But it appears, because if you look at the history of Josh Harris, 76ers, I don't know too much about the NHL or the Devils, but from the realm of the NBA, Doc Rivers, he was fired before the season. He rides with coaches. I can't remember the last time he in Philadelphia that actually fired a coach in the middle of the season. I think so. Based off his track record as far as his head coaches, he usually rides them out to the end of the year. So I think that's what's going to happen here. But like you said, yeah, Ron Rivera's checked out, man. I don't know. I think he's just like, man, look, let's just get through this thing, man, and then we can just part ways, because I think he knows that this is it. So yeah, I agree, man. I kind of wanted to float that question out there, man. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I think New York is. Yeah, it's a scary game, man. So we'll see. Definitely show your support, but don't underestimate the Giants, man, because any given Sunday.
That's right. Any given Sunday.
Hey, wherever you get your podcast, definitely a 5-star review. YouTube side, man, like, subscribe, definitely comment below. But if you're not a member of the Washington Football Maniacs, please strongly consider it, man, because we have a lot of good content coming your way, man. I'm telling you, it's going to get better and better and better. Sunday, we are going to do a recap. So definitely tune in for that. We're going to recap the Giants game. And this week coming up, man, we're going to talk about that. Who is the best candidate for next year? Because we know it's coming. Would Harbaugh coming back to the NFL be an option? Or do you want to see Belichick in the burgundy gold? So those are definitely a couple of good questions I see already. So definitely appreciate you guys, man. We see you Sunday. Everybody, hail to the Commanders and peace. Have a good night, everybody. Have a good weekend.